What's up, YouTube? This is JP Panther back with a video, and today's video is actually a Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War episode. Again, yesterday I couldn't do it because I was really tired from work, but at least I'm here to do it now. So again, I'm just gonna do the two episodes that are combined together instead of just doing individually. So I'm just gonna kind of just do one video and also talk about like other stuff with the 1,000-Year Blood War and things like that as well. So let's get into the back-to-back, I guess, reviews, right? So in this, well, at least episode 11, in this episode, we have it where Ichigo's mom, they fought the Hollow, stuff like that. And then she eventually comes back to, like, I guess, Uryu's dad's house and stuff like that and say, oh, I'm fine, everything's all good. But then we find out later on she's, like, infected. When she got bit by the Hollow, she was infected by the Hollow and things like that and stuff like that. And then, you also have it, we go back where Ishin goes back to, the Soul Society, try to explain himself, everything's all good, blah, blah, try to kill the Hollow, things like that, he broke the rules, blah, 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 blah. This episode was mostly dialogue, just to sum it all up. And then Kisei Uehara noticed that something was wrong with, Masashi Kurosaki, things like that. Then eventually they're like, oh, everything's all fine. And then she passes out. She has the hole in her heart and stuff like that. Then Ishin Kurosaki comes in there, talks to Uryu's dad, being like, this is your fault, things like that. She gave up her life because you're a soul reaper, things like that, blah, blah, blah. It's all that, all that talk, dialogue, pretty much, right? And then Kisuke talks about, like, the visors and how holification, things like that. And pretty much you guys have two options. Either you give up being the Soul Reaper and protect it for the rest of your life, or, pretty much they're saying all the stuff like that. And then pretty much Ishin pretty much says, I have no problem, giving up my life and protecting it for the rest of my life, things like that. And Uryu dad, he was very hesitant because it doesn't really benefit him. It doesn't benefit Ishin Kurosaki, but it is what it is. And then he has to be in the Gigai to protect her because of the spiritual pressure, things like that. And then he kills the Hollow or suppress the Hollow with his Soul Reaper power. And then eventually those two, fall in love, get married, blah, blah, blah. Ichigo gets born and all that jumbo, right? And then Ishin talks to Kurosaki like, why is that's your whole mother if you and I getting together, things like that. Then 20 years later, it's all about the 9, like the 9 years, 900 days, 900 years, 90 days, 9 years, 90, everything's surrounded with 9, right? So eventually Yuha kills Ichigo's mother because she's unpure, things like that. And also Uryu's mom, things like that, to take all the powers and restore to the Quincy King, things like that. And pretty much to sum it up is that the way it's set up is that pretty much Ichigo is quote unquote Yuwatch's son, if you think about it, because he even said, my son born in the darkness, things like that. And I mean, they pretty much in this episode they explain how Ichigo is a Quincy and things like that. And I mean, they explained it pretty well. I didn't even really have to go into the whole dialogue in depth with it because you guys probably already saw the episode. But pretty much it was a really story driven episode. And they talk and things like that, a lot of dialogue. And at the end of the day, yeah, Ichigo got his answers, and that was pretty much it for the main episode. That's pretty much it for that part. And then number 13, this is the one I really care about the most. Again, if you guys don't know, I already read the manga, so I already knew all the stuff that was happening with Ichigo being Quincy, things like that. And then, his dad, Ichigo's dad, pretty much tells Ichigo, you're supposed to go to the World Palace. Where you have any idea where to go? He's like, I have no idea, blah, blah, blah. And then the chick from the Fullbringer, she gives him the Compact Pass from the from the Substitute Soul Reaper badge, gives it back to Ichigo, things like that. He's like, I have no idea. And then I guess Ayama's Zanpakuto, subordinate comes in there and says, Ichigo, I found you, boom, grabs him, and then brings him back to the Royal Palace. And then he's back in the Uchas, being like, all right, since you know who you are, now you gotta find out which one is yours. And then all the other Uchas pretty much stand down. He found the real one. He's like, oh, okay, that's the real one. Okay. that is, he pretty much says, I'll come in for it, make your own Zanpakuto, things like that. And then Aoyama talks about that hollow that you've been fighting with. He's your Zanpakuto. And he talked about that's Zangetsu. And he's like, he's like, no, that's Zanpakuto. He's like, but you got to realize that man who's been pretending to be your Zanpakuto isn't really Zangetsu. And he's like, what do you mean? That's Zangetsu. No. That's you watch from 1,000 years ago. Because even I at least listened to the Japanese voice and I read about it. I knew he was Yuha because if you watch the episode or even if you read especially in the dub, the English dub recently, I watched it on Hulu. They both, the Zangetsu and Yuwabak, have the same voice actor, and they sound very, very similar. So even in the manga, when it happened, it was like, oh my god, he's a Yuwatch from 1,000 years ago, things like that. And of course, Ichigo talks about, are you really Yuwatch? Are you really my enemy? Are you Zangetsu? Zangetsu pretty much says that, I wanted to protect you, things like that. The hollow was your real power, things like that. He says, I was just your Quincy power in this form. And he says, the reason why I suppress your power is because I did not want you to keep on fighting and getting yourself killed and become a Soul Reaper. And he says, if you have to become a Soul Reaper, I would have to kill you. But then he looked at Ichigo being like, I'm very, very proud to see the growth you have. And I am very satisfied that, you picked the decision that you wanted to pick. And he says, I'm no longer there to protect you. Even the Hollow's no longer there to protect you. You can finally fight with your own. And then he disappears under the water and says, I'm very, very grateful to you, things like that. And I feel very joy. And he says, Ichigo, what you've been fighting for this whole time is not, that was just a portion of your Quincy power. This is the real Zangetsu. And then he takes the two swords, the two blades, and be like, whoa, now you have the hollow power. And now you have the Quincy power, two double blade swords. And I was like, again, I read this in the manga, but in the anime, I was like, damn, it looked really, really good. Even Aoyama's like, damn, you got two Zanpakutos. That's pretty dope. And then it shows you that with Ichigo, he's grown as a fighter, showing that I no longer need the Hollow and Zangetsu to fight together back to, fuse inside me on some Dragon Ball Z to fight an enemy like he did with Aizen and other scenarios and stuff like that. Now you could just fight with your own true power and not have to call on a demon or a spirit to help you, So Ichigo just fights with his true power. And that was pretty much it for and of course they had this #1 theme song, things like that. And then, it looks like everyone's about to be prepared and ready and things like that for the next invasion. And we get to the part where Ishida Uryu meets with Yuha, say, oh, let's come to fight together, my son. And that's pretty much the end of episode 13. I do want to say this, right? Because I was going to make a whole new video about this, but I'm like, nah, it's already out. If you guys don't know, the second part of the core, it comes out July 2023. And what's crazy? That comes out in July 2023. Jujutsu Kaisen comes out in July 2023. And Captain Marvel is like, man, they're trying to compete against Hollywood and Wall Street, dropping 2 popular animes in the summer blockbuster season. And also, you guys got to realize, with TV shows and anime and stuff like that, they never drop animes or TV shows during the summertime because people are outside, go to work, summer job, kids are off of school, people are out of college, things like that. But since Bleach, they feel so confident in it, they're like, nah, we dropping it during the summertime, and it's going to be pretty fire. So if you guys don't know, that's when the next core starts happening. So I'm going to be enjoying it. I'm going to have a great time watching it. And that's just something I wanted to let you guys know. And I guess Kubo's still working on the script and stuff like that for the next core and stuff like that. So, and then I might even link it down below and stuff like that. So again, that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought about this season. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I thought this season was, again, I read the manga. I thought it was a 10 out of 10 personally because this season of anime was really, really good. And I think Bleach is better than all the animes and TV shows and movies that are out in Hollywood and that's out right now, even live action stuff like that or animation. I think Bleach is probably the best, hottest thing out right now. And also, yesterday, Bleach was trending #1 worldwide, so that was a big, big thing. So just want to throw that out there. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you rate and like the video and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Peace and have a great day and take care.